So here we are just discussing about that how to create a singleton class, right? So as much as we will go deep inside in it, we need to just go and do much more tuning and much more restrictions. How we can create a single object here, right? So singleton class is very important. Generally, sometimes we need it the singleton class, right? So singleton class is one object per JVD. Correct. So if you will just remove this one, I can say one object per JV, right? Like this. And if you will just go into a Spring world, so in Spring you will have a singleton bean. So singleton bean is nothing but that is an scope and one bean object per Spring container. Correct. So it is little different here, but you need to understand when we are talking about single class with the Java per JVM in Spring World, it is a per container. Okay, like this. So how you can restrict it? So if you don't want it to give any chance to, let's say there are scenarios when we have classes something called as a connection factory, right? So connection factory, we should not have too many connection factories, correct? So connection factory is responsible for creating and giving a connection to you, right?
Okay.
So this is uh we are making that connection factory here. So in that scenario, what we are saying is we will make this connection factory as a singleton. So once only one class we need it, and this class will create and give a connection to us. So it is also provide that you can say the feature and the concept of a factory pattern. So factory pattern is nothing but how you are so there is a creational patterns in Java. In Java creational patterns, there is a factory, abstract factory, builder, right? And there are some more patterns are there. So connection factory is nothing but we are using it as a you can say creating a connection only. Correct. So let's say we will declare that private static OBJ. Okay. Now, now what is happening here? We will make this if you don't want it to give any chance to any other Java classes or any other thread or any other you can say what we can call as functionality to create an object for this outside of this class to for the restriction purpose, what we will say we will make it as a constructor as a private. Correct. So when we are making as a constructor as a private, we won't be, so no other class will be able to create an object of this class. Correct.
Right.
So how in that scenario, we will make it as a public, right, connection factory, and we will make a static method, right, get object, right, and like this. And whenever we are talking about get object, right, it will return the object here. So what we will say, we will check that if this particular object is null, right? Then we will create an object, right? So is equal to new. Right. Okay. So after that, you can say return obj, right? So every time, whenever you are trying to call this, correct? In that scenario, what will happen here? It will check that object. If the object is null, it will return the object here. Correct. Now there is a some much more problem here. When we try to access this class into a multi-threading environment, then there will be some problem. So multiple thread can access it. Let's say one thread is line number 13, right? Another thread is line number 14. right? Like this, or one thread is line number 13, another thread line number 14 here, right? Another thread is 13 here, like this. Or one some other thread is trying to on line number 5, another thread is line number accessing on line number 14. So there will be some problem here, because multiple threads whenever access this code is not a thread safe. So synchronized, right? So in that scenario, what will happen here? Now this code, we have made this particular code is we made it as a thread safe here, correct? So if we make this code as a thread safe, in that scenario, what will happen here? We have created only one thread will be able to access it at any particular time, correct?
Yes.
So still there is some more challenges here. So one thing you need to keep in mind whenever you are dealing with the multi-threaded environment, and anyway, and you are just working on to a multi-threading scenario, you always need to keep in mind it's a very basic fundamental rules, and it is not looks like very simple, but it is not simple. Your variables also should be a thread safe, and your functionality also be thread safe. That is you need to take care. So in that scenario, you need to go with the double locking, and always you need to keep. That's why we have there is a volatile, it creates a problem. We have that atomic integers and many such different other problems, other classes. मतलब जहाँ तक हम इसकी बात कर रहे हैं तो वेरिएबल्स भी थ्रेड सेफ होनी चाहिए, और आपका कोड भी थ्रेड सेफ होना चाहिए। तो यहाँ पर हमें थोड़ा सा और restrictions ऐड करना पड़ेगा, ठीक? So what we do, we check it, right? In that scenario, double check locking, right? So in double check locking, what we can call is, and we can say, sorry, not this, we can say connection. Here, we will check one more time. And we will make it as a, this way you can make it, right? This is one way, right? So here, if you just wanted to remove this one, you can remove, and then like this, you can try, correct? Also, what we can do, this is a one way. Another thing is what we can do it, you can say public static final. Right. So in that scenario, what will happen here? In line number 5, we are just saying uh, already we have created an object, and then we are trying to access it. But this is another early initialization, that is this way. One more way you can just do it to check and make a much more way to make it as a safe. So I hope you got the point, right? How to make this singleton class and make it as a thread safe here.